waited long enough, fellas. Bryce, you look clean, man.
Club promoter Bryce, we love it.
I'm just living my best Fetty life, man. I know it's been a long time. I've been in shades for 6 hours waiting for this game to get underway. But it's the last online day of qualifiers, so we're going to make the best of it. We're going to enjoy it, and what a game coming up. OpTic versus Ultra, two teams not having the best of time in our qualifiers on the run-up to Major IV.
No, absolutely not. I just love the relaxed demeanor that we've got going on here, especially from you. I would like to point out that the chest hair is out on my end, but where's yours?
I'm smooth, man, like a swimmer, like an athlete.
He's like a seal.
Yeah, like a seal. That makes more sense. There's a lot of blubber on this body. But enough about my lack of chest hair. We do have to talk, regardless of how we look, about the game coming up. This does matter. It matters a lot for OpTic and Ultra about getting into that winner's side. But it also matters just because we are trying to figure out how these teams are getting on. Ultra, disappointing from them after their performance in Major 3. They are still technically very firmly in that bubble. There is a potential for them not to make champs at the end. Obviously, OpTic have had it clinched for a while. Their story is more about getting into the swing of things.
Yeah, Ultra are definitely still in danger. They're one of those teams we're looking at now, especially with some of the results and how they have played out. They have slowly but surely been dragged right back into it, Brycey. So the wins are important for them. I think they will be fine. I think they can find themselves in a good major, but take some of the pressure off with a win here. That would be good for them. But realistically, it is going to be a difficult one. I think this should be a very, very good game. But I think you're right. It's very much about benchmarking for both these two teams, where we sort of sitting at the moment, Ultra being kind of topsy-turvy, as have OpTic. So it's really difficult to predict this one. I think it's not a surprise to see that the desk are split on it. It is a very, very interesting series. Feels like quite a while ago, but we were discussing the maps before the London series, actually going through a couple of them, and I kind of agree with the desk there as well. The Gavutu control is an interesting one. We were talking about it what seems I said quite a while ago. We were curious as to why Toronto kind of stuck with the Gavutu there. Of course, the ban came out from OpTic to get rid of Berlin, and then it was a choice basically for Ultra. Do you go with Tuscan or do you go with Gavutu? They've been playing Gavutu quite a bit recently, so clearly wanting to get some reps in there. OpTic haven't played it since May the 8th because of their 6-1 record. It just has been banned up against them, which makes sense. But Ultra on a 3-game losing streak, so I'm really curious as to how that has gone through and if there is a reason for it. Of course, Marquee B is not somebody that would come up with anything in particular for any bad reason, so there is a reason there for the side of the Toronto Ultra on that one. But other than that, it is a bit of a toss-up. There is a couple of maps in there that could go one way or the other, but honestly, I'm really looking forward to the series. Hopefully we do get in pretty sharpish, but it should be a really interesting one. It's one that could definitely go down to the wire.
All right, being perfectly honest with it, obviously we're waiting for this game to get underway. This is one of those games where the statistics don't always kind of match up to the reality of it. Yeah. Like, we kind of break down before the game kind of our processes. We look at all the games that they have played statistically over the entire season. We look at their maps, how they've been playing it, so on and so forth. The problem for both of these two teams is that recent results are more relevant for them. So we kind of have to take that into account here. Ultra have not been the team that we screamed about at Major 3. Because, you know, their S&D is a little bit on the ropes. OpTic Texas obviously have illy come back in, but they have been far from the kind of the Major 1 winners that people were hoping to see, which is why we have to talk about rebuilding, right? OpTic Texas haven't looked dominant. They haven't looked like the top team in the game. This is all about them getting back into that form and feeling comfortable. On Ultra, it's figuring out what on earth has gone wrong in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if we were to touch on OpTic immediately, at the beginning of the year when they won that first event, obviously outside of the Kickoff Classic, when they won that first major, everyone looked at them and thought, I think we had the discussion at the time, they may well just go on and win nearly every single event this year. That's what we were thinking, and we haven't seen that form. You know, a lot of people will point towards maybe consistency when it does come down to Vanguard is maybe a little bit harder to find, but at the same time, the results have been disappointing. They haven't just been shy of a couple of wins here and there. They haven't really looked that great since that point. I agree with you though on Ultra. We were expecting a lot more out of them. It's similar kind of stories. Ultra went on to win Kickoff Classic. OpTic went on to win the very first major of the year. But since then, it has been mostly disappointment. But for Ultra, they did have that peak back up. And we were all saying in the green room, we were all saying, this is it. This is now Ultra going to be competing the rest of the year. But they've come back to online. And they just haven't been at that sort of level that we expected from them after their own home major. Was it the buff from the crowd? Was it just on land they maybe look a little bit better? I do wonder. But it is an interesting one. It should be a good series, and hallelujah. I believe we're good. I believe we're good to start. I don't want to... I'm touching all the wood in my room. It's only the desk that I have, but because all points it's going to be coming up, Brycey, I'm excited to get into the series.
Yeah, me too. It is looking like a game, and a game we must have. Thank goodness we're going to kick it off on aBeZy with these two teams, and we'll have to find out exactly how it does go down. It is late here in the UK. It is also about 1,000 degrees, but none of that matters. Bounty match for these two. Winners bracket beckons for the major. And we have gameplay starting off with Shotzzy.
Sunglasses can come up off my face now, Brycey, because I don't have to see your glaring white face. Here we are, into aBeZy. And for the side of OpTic, I'm curious how they're going to do here. As I said, lost 3 of the last 4. How invincible they looked at a stage here on aBeZy, but it's a good shot from start from Shotzzy, I should say. 4 HP in a dream up top. That's 4 in a row for him now. Great start for OpTic. They'll break open the first hill. Look for that second rotation. Ultra are a team who pick up a lot of their points on that second hill, so OpTic have got to lock down the rotation as quick as they can.
I can already see a little bit of positioning going on for P1 and a little bit of a lack of soak. I wonder if OpTic Texas have made that kind of adjustment. One of the biggest criticisms, and they don't really seem to want to get onto the point. But 15 off the first so far, and Bant's managed to hit inside with a team nade.
I'm curious how these two teams are going to adapt, you know, waiting this amount of time. They would have been warmed up quite some time ago. Have they been playing scrims? Have they just been chilling? It's one of those things, yes, okay, it affects the teams who are currently in those games, but in this scenario, it doesn't seem to have affected OpTic Texas. They've come out the grates absolutely screaming. Scump pushing forward into Grandma's, just trying to relieve some of that pressure that will be coming from Ultra, but there has a player who has escaped by. That is going to be Bant, and the rest of Ultra have done great through the front door. Momentarily, it's Dashy, left all on his own, finds 2, but falls. Ultra finds somewhat of a break here with 35 seconds to go.
Heavy's going to kick things off here for the side of OpTic. And now they're just looking a little bit of positioning going on around P2. Nobody really committing for the time quite yet. Ultra will eventually jump on, and they need to. Only 3 points scored so far. Fortunately, OpTic aren't too far ahead that it matters that much. Only 28 points for themselves. Scrap time will go to Ultra. The rotation might go to OpTic, though.
Yeah, nothing to write home about when it does come down to the scoreline. Ultra will not be too perplexed by that. Get the rotation in, though. Was damage limitation. OpTic do not pick up much from what was a very, very solid rotation. Bant's now up top. 4 spree for him. Oh, he would have liked to continue it, but Shotzzy is there. Can be a Reaper on this map at times. Cammy trying to get across and moving on forward. Well played from him. The spawns have now been flipped as well. It's only momentarily Scump who's left in a position to do much about it. Here come the rest of the team, though, through mid-map. Shotzzy finds one through the front door, but it's a bit of a fist fight inside of Grandma's. Bant's with the second absurd kill from him, and Ultra lock it in.
Trying to do Scump, trying to get through the side. He goes into Tools and has a gunfight, but walks away clean. Shotzzy go around the back as well. They are looking to push onto this one. They are winning just about enough trades. Scump still alive, will eventually go down to Bans here. And OpTic do not have the numbers to get into position right now. Maybe one last roll of the dice, maybe some scrap time, but it's looking like a barn setup.
OpTic, the second best team on the game when it does come down to P4. Can they find a good setup here? And Cammy will try and ruin that as best as he can. Bant's alongside of him. Not quite able to find the second. Playing next to the side door. OpTic, I mean, the rotation was in there, but Ultra have just found them. I think it's the push that comes in towards the back from Bants and Cammy. Forces OpTic to spawn out back towards P3. And there you go. It's a broken setup immediately. And then once again, a broken setup as OpTic have found a way through. Only Cammy remaining. It's been very, very close so far. Both two teams have been broken quite easily. OpTic, I would say, more so than not. Leads slightly with the side of Ultra here, but still a lot to fight for over towards P4.
Must have been the call from the Bants there. Instant pre-fire onto early, but it's not going to be enough. The teammates need to get back in for these trades. OpTic's doing a great job of holding down Barn. They really aren't letting Ultra get their fingers into this one at all. And now as we look to start to go towards River, hopefully OpTic will just lock down the rest of this time and then think about the rotation. There is some pressure coming from Ultra, but not enough to deter them.
Yeah, this is the first save time that Bryce said that OpTic have managed to get a hold of, though, to be honest with you. They did have this rotation, but Ultra have always been there. They will come away as the beneficiary from P4. It was about a 15-20 point swing, so that's a good enough job on any hill when it does come down to aBeZy. Bants will find 3 on the transition, though. Well played from him. Ultra ready and waiting here down towards the boat. Shotzzy's going to escape on through, though, because of course he is. Finds one kill, dips out, gets the player off the hill, so Ultra currently getting nothing on the board here.
Oh, we'll be OpTic in the time at the moment. Just slowly but surely trying to get it as well. Cammy and Bants having a little bit of a fight there. It's not going to go their way. Ultra have been blown backwards. And Scump is going to win that gunfight with the auto into mid-river. Takes L control, and Ultra are now firmly on the back foot.
The catalyst there, Brycey, for me, was when Shotzzy moves through mid-map, gets over towards Car, finds the one kill on the player in the hill. Ultra have to go for it. They have to jump on the point. They've won the rotation, and from there, they have not won a gunfight. iLLeY had a slow start to the game, but 9 in 10 out of him on a 4 spree. They've heated things up. And the jig is up at the moment, though. Ultra thought they may have had the leap on OpTic there, but they spin around. They know exactly what's going on. That's 5 in a row for iLLeY. And some really good time for the side of OpTic Texas over towards P4 and P5. A dominant lead in the end as we head into the second rotation events.
Yeah, he's trying to play this smart as well. One last kill for the glide. It's not going to work out for them. Ultra getting a little bit of time on a P1. The soak is coming through, but Shotzzy is determined to end that situation right now. Finds the first, dips out at the same time. More movement coming around from him. Eventually, he's going to drop, but it is going to be OpTic that put the pressure on towards River. They are looking to flip this.
Trying their best to do so. Last time around, they were the team that were there first, and can they be there once more? Looking that way. 28 seconds remaining here, and time on the board here for Scump. He gets him by timing on the Kleenex. Good fight start to go the way of Ultra, though. They need this rotation, to be honest with you, Brycey. You really do not want to be this far behind when it does come down to Bacage. Looking that way, though. The rotation that OpTic did have. Not going to have it anymore, though. Big gunfight going over towards P2. Bants will win that. As the scrap time is fought over once more. Rotation is there for Ultra, and they need to get some good time here. Brycey, they usually do well on this hill. The best team in the game are locking down this setup. Can they get the job down here and close this gap?
Well, they've taken a little bit of a backtrack. Usually the teams like to push out and try to put the pressure onto that team that has to come and retake it. And it may be bad because they are buckling. They have lost every single gunfight. OpTic with a clean sweep, completely rip them out, take the spawns away. And that can be the issue with turtling.
And that's far too easy. Everybody's set up, waiting for the push to come on through, but OpTic are just shooting them in the back. They come from a realized spawn that they wouldn't have expected, the side of Ultra. And now OpTic Texas, they've broken that far too easily. The money hill for a lot of teams and a big one for Ultra is broken. Scump now trying to push forward, thinking about this rotation over towards P3 in 20 or so seconds. Cammy will find a couple of kills over towards the backside, though, and find 15 seconds of time that is desperately needed for the side of Ultra.
Well, a little bit of
100-point mark
prize.
Yeah, that's literally it. OpTic Texas, for all that you don't win the rotation, you stop Ultra getting much there. This rotation over towards P3 looks like it's your way, but there is a certain Kleenex here to try and spoil the party.
Well, we'll have to find out how it goes because OpTic are currently leading. Let's go for a listen in to see how they are.
Yeah. I can help you. I can help you. Sit down. Back window. Hit me up. Back window, last guy. Push a little more.
I got it done.
Nice job, baby. I got needed. Yeah, hear that? You're trying to get a little more. Sit down. I'm gonna flood. Kleenex absolute. I'm flying to your side. Yeah, I'm flying to your side. I got Kitch. Kitch. Cammy dead. Another guy's going back window, guys.
I hear that.
Stairs. I got last guy. I hear you. I'm trying. Last guy top. I have dead. I have Lamar. They showed.
What's Castle?
Lamar dead. I'm back.
Yo, what's back window?
Castle dead.
Back window.
Yeah, back window Kleenex weak. Back window Kleenex. He jumped in. I'm playing for some.
Back window.
Close kid. Nice kid.
He's in the shot. Back window right now. Back window.
Nice two. Make sure roll, guys. Make sure roll. Back window inside. Really hurt. I hit it all. Inside. I can help you out. One more Kleenex. 2 mid street. We're burning. I'll play left side. Yo, 2 mid street. 2 mid street. One for bar. Dead in front.
Come in front.
Trying to watch your front. Ivor front.
Inside take flat.
Are you?
He's first weak.
I'm trying to pick up that. I'm sorry.
Small. Absolute.
He's still there. Back. Yep. Store down. I need it. One.
Right two. Yeah, Cammy's left.
I'm P2. Last guy. I don't see him. I'm waiting for you.
Just running in the back.
Dead. Just running in the back.
Small. In the back.
Small and back door as well.
I'm gonna go from right, guys. Can you beam over me? Yeah, I hear that.
There's nothing else, water? I don't see anything in the back. Yo, get the shot. Yo, back door bans. Back door weak. I'm here with you. I back door. Front on me. And big door. Rotate right here, guys. Yo, there's 3-0. Yep, 3-0. Can't make game mixy.
Well, OpTic firing in the comms and firing on Bacage. They have already got over 200 points. Usually, at this point in the game, if OpTic had 200 points, the game would be about to end just on the clock alone. But they have done so much work here. A big hold onto River could shut this game down.
Yeah, just a lot of good trades coming in from the side of OpTic. They always seem to be on the winning side. That last kill was always the green man on the left-hand side. Just something I want to speak of as well. iLLeY had a really, really slow start, sitting at 27 and 20 now, though. The interactions may not be as high as somebody like Shotzzy. I think he'd be hard-pressed to do so. But nonetheless, those kills have been flowing for Render, and now can they continue? They need to try and do so here. Toronto Ultra need some good time so desperately.
Oh, they're losing the kills. There's nobody there to protect the player on Hill. Clearx trying to do enough work, but he's massively outnumbered. And eventually, he's surely going to go down. He just cannot take a gunfight from every single angle. As slowly but surely, OpTic creep closer and closer to taking this W.
Yeah, it's looking really, really strong for the side of OpTic. Vance trying to break through. And this kind of deficit on a map like because it's just so hard to come back from. All OpTic really need to do is just contest away as best as they can. 20 points away now. Going to be heading into that third rotation, Brycey. It's not often that we do get here, but once again, iLLeY on a spree. Every single time we're on board with them, it's 4, 5, 6 in a row. It's going to end at 5 once more, but the side of Ultra needs to be pretty much perfect for the rest of their map here.
Well, they're going to try and get some time on P1 here, Ultra, but OpTic can play this pretty leisurely. A long hit all the way around to P2. They can try and get a little bit of time on P1. They can play the slaying game. The options are numerous, and the chance for Ultra is slimming by the second. But at the moment, they're doing an all right job of holding it. They've got some more kills coming down here. Bant on a 5 streak will eventually be cut down. But he needs his teammates to bring it up here. Inside not having the best fun on this map at the moment. Only 14 kills to his name. And they need him to step it up if there's any hope of him coming back.
Yeah, and it's kind of apparent though, isn't it? At the same time, you don't want to put it on a single player, but when those kills, those rotations, those hills that you're looking down, you need your ARs to be locking down these lanes and finding the kills. He hasn't been able to do so. OpTic very close to the win now.
They're trying to continue this push here, and they're going to be 1 second away as the tick roams around, and he's looking for the play towards the back, but Cleanix managed to get him here, but Ultra are spawning out. It's all OpTic at the time. They just need to just jump on this point. I don't even know if it can be stopped. Cammy gets him just before, but the fights are going through. Nobody can stop that player getting onto barrels there in the end. And OpTic feeling fine on Bacage today. That game actually ended at 250, something I didn't really expect to see done.
Yeah, that was an absolute flyer for the side of OpTic. I mean, look, it was a bit of a shaky start for Ultra, and it kind of just spiraled for me when we headed over towards P5. Shotzzy finds that initial kill, clean breaks every single time for Texas. I think there was only really a couple of moments of note for Ultra there. But the breaking from the side of Texas is what does the job. 41 and 30 from Shotzzy on, because you can't let that happen. If he's putting those kind of numbers, he's finding important kills left, right, and center. And the scoreline at the top of your screen very much represents that. 250 to 169. A comfortable map number 1 for OpTic.
Yeah, they basically took control of that map and never really let go. And for Ultra, it was always just trying to recover, always trying to get back into that game. And I think players like Bancy was trying to do as much as he could, playing the dirty route, still getting the kills. I think he went something like 37 and 21. He was only 100 kills, 100 damage behind Shotzzy. Problem is, they just weren't winning enough of them. And OpTic looking like a little bit different gravy. And I'll tell you something, I think that's probably the most amount of time to see them get P1 in quite a while.
Yeah, they were getting a lot of time in P1, and they were getting a lot of time in every single hill, to be honest with you, Brycey. When those rotations were coming in, Ultra had potential to break, and that's why we've seen them get as many points as they did. And it was just felt like every time that OpTic broke, they did it so cleanly. Like, it wasn't just a trade fest where that final kill came down to them. There was occasions where it did obviously come down to those final kills, and OpTic were usually winning theirs. But for the majority of the time, when OpTic were finding those breaks, it was happening with no answer from the side of Ultra, and that just makes it so much easier for them to then set up. I mean, look there, for instance, 3 kills immediately. There you go. You've got the spawns, you've got the hill, and that's just every single point that is going towards OpTic is far too easy for them to get a hold of. The side of Ultra, you know, a couple of trades here and there. In those moments, you've got a very different game, but as it goes, they couldn't do so. OpTic, as mentioned, that's comfortable map number 1. It'll give them a lot of confidence heading to the rest of the series.
It certainly will, and they're looking to continue marching forward. That's what everybody wanted to see from OpTic. And taking down Ultra on Bacage is certainly a statement. The Berlin S&D coming up next, though, Ton.
Yeah.
It's another test for them.
Yeah, it is a massive test for them, of course. I mean, it's hard to say, of course, with how OpTic recently, with iLLeY just coming back in, are they getting up to speed now? But 3 and 4 over their last 4 games, of course, on Berlin. And it is currently an 8-game win streak for the side of Ultra. So they would have looked at this Ultra as a banker of a map in this series. Because was always going to be a bit of a toss-up. You know, Ultra haven't looked too bad on it as of recent, but OpTic not looking great either. So it's, you know, it's one of those that can go either way. Berlin Search and Destroy, Ultra will be looking at this and saying, right, we definitely should be coming in to win this map. Let's see how we go with the rest of the series. If you look at the Tuscan Hardpoint, that's a potential. Gavutu Control is a difficult one. But this is definitely the one that Ultra are looking at. We need to get this win.
Yeah, like I said, for both teams, it's kind of an important game for different reasons. I wonder how they're going to go into this S&D. Obviously, one of the stories for me, obviously, I've got to talk about Ultra here. Their S&D at Major 3 was ridiculous. It was so good, and it was one of the things we've always said, that Ultra have that great S&D locked in. Hasn't been the case in the qualifiers moving forward. Somehow the hardpoint curse has disappeared, but everything's kind of falling into a little bit of disarray, and they're trying to fix it. And I hope this team that's been through so much controversy, bearing in mind before Major 3 people wanted a team change, they did Major 3, everyone thought everything was fine, they had fixed it, they were finally on form. Coming to the qualifiers for Major 4, everything seems to have fallen by the wayside just a little bit. It's not been the easiest of schedules, and out of FaZe, London on the resurgence, they lost to Boston as well, of course. OpTic's a real test for them mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you are right on the strength of schedule that they have had. It's been very difficult. I think, you know, you look at the London game that went all the way down to round 11, and that's how, you know, hot London have looked outside of that last series. Obviously, them losing that one, but, you know, circumstances. Going up against FaZe, who haven't necessarily looked too hot, but still a team they've struggled up against all year. Well, for 2 years, let's be frank. It's not an easy lineup for the side of Ultra to try and get some wins in. So I wonder, you know, they'll be looking at it. You would wonder, are they just thinking to themselves, look, we performed so great on LAN last time, can't wait to get there? Of course, that is going to be the case for all these players. They will always feel that things go better on LAN, but the side of Ultra, maybe the online portion just hasn't suited them. But, well, they don't have to worry about that for much longer, though, do they, Brycey? It's the final day.
Well, that's very true. That is very true. So here's the thing, it's kind of weird for me to say that this is the end of the unlock well, because there's so much of the season left to go, right? Like, I'm kind of feeling a little bit nostalgic about it. Obviously, we're having some fun today. I'm sure the players as well are looking forward to getting to the kind of the end dessert of the season, right? We've got Major 4 to come. We head to New York in just a few days, and then we have the road to champs. Basically, everybody's gearing up for it. I love the fact that at this point in the season, we still don't know who our 8 teams are. We don't know who's going to champs, who's made it, who's had the results that matter. This is one of the games that could decide it, of course. We Ultra were looking pretty good after Major 3, and they're not looking good going into Major 4.
Yeah, it's just with all the results that have come around as well. Looking at these standings, they have, as mentioned at the top of the show here, been dragged in. I don't think anyone would have expected Guerrillas to maybe do as well as they have done, to be frank. And Thieves, Mutineers still in and around where they were, and Subliners have done all they possibly can. They just haven't had the other teams hold up the other end of the bargain, so to speak. But yeah, Ultra, you would have thought, after specifically how well they did at their own major, they'd be able to crack on here, but haven't had the chance to do so. But that doesn't look like a team too worried to me, Brycey. I think they know heading into LAN, that's where their bread is buttered, so to speak. Let's see if they can get the job done there, but they still have the tall order of coming up against OpTic Texas here. Toronto Ultra's record, though, when it does come down to this map, is very good. Side of OpTic, though, not too bad, but losing 3 of the last 4, the form hasn't necessarily been there. But OpTic are the #1 offensive team on billing, so Toronto are going to have to be solid on those defensive side of things. Ultra's 8-game win streak is under threat, but not quite yet. We are having a moment before we do head into the search and destroy. Built it up lovely there, Brycey, and the servers done me again.
Well, sometimes it happens, but it's all good. It's all good. We will get through this as a community. We appreciate the patience for everyone watching at home, of course, except some guy called Pat, apparently. But basically, as we go into this next game, I want to kind of get your feelings, because we have some time to talk, let's be honest. I want to get your feelings on how you think OpTic will probably do moving forward. Is the rebuild working? Where exactly do you see them coming at Major 4? And it's a big question, I know.
It's a really difficult one, because I think with iLLeY coming back in, and it's nothing on Prolute, but obviously this team won a championship together. With iLLeY coming back in, you have seen improvements there. I mean, that was a good game from him, a very slow start, but I think as we've kind of alluded to all of this online stage, it's been about the rebuild process. It's been about them getting back into that groove of things. It's been about, I mean, uncertainty for them as well. It's like, Illy's back in, Illy isn't in, Illy's back in. Okay, he's in. Is he good? Yes, he is. Now can we crack on and try and find some sort of rhythm, some sort of form again? Because it does take time for these things to sort themselves out. It doesn't matter if you're OpTic or Paris or anybody. You know, it comes down to if you've been playing together a while and you can get into that rhythm of what you should be doing, getting Illy back up to speed. These are all things that OpTic and their fans will have to think of when it does come down to New York. I personally am not putting them in the picture to win. I don't. Well, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, they'll forget about it tomorrow. I don't have them in that conversation myself personally. I think there's a lot of teams at the moment that are in that conversation. OpTic are still on that rebuild, but I think that they will probably understand that as well. They'll be heading into the land. They had the talent to win it, absolutely, but do they have the reps with this team yet? Once again, are they back up to speed? Is Illy where he wants to be? A game and win against the Toronto Ultra, I think, and do this convincingly, I think it does put them potentially into that picture. But right now, from what we've seen online from them over this stage, I think it would be hard to argue that they are a top 3 team at the moment.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I kind of want to go to the positives though about this team, and I'll take this from kind of a top-down view on that Barrage, right? Adjustments have been made. It's very, very clear to me just by watching that for the first. It kind of become a meme, right? The OpTic were like playing hardpoint on Barrage, like the floor was lava. They wouldn't get in the point. We would always end the game on the clock rather than anything else. Just the fact that I saw them getting onto P1 more and more, and rather than worrying about slaying out and going for the P2, those tactics work, but it's in moderation. You have to kind of get a little bit of soak time on P1. Also, the fact that Illy had a bad start, fully regained, and started shredding Ultra. And then the last thing, the comms that came from them, it sounded great. Like UAVs were flying around the map. They knew where Ultra were. They were in a good position to keep doing it. They were figuring out the plays they needed to make. And it really pushed them over the edge, right? These are the tiny things you can kind of take away from gameplay and say, hey, this does look better than last time. The adjustments have been made. They've been working on it, watching VODs, talking to their coaching staff, and having those discussions internally, because practice makes perfect. And at this point, that is what they are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's not forget, though, they were a very, very good Barrage team at the beginning of the game. They've looked really solid when it did come down to this map, and the fundamentals will always still be there. And I just think, honestly, it was nice to see that slaying ability, which we know that they have. We know everybody on this team can shoot with the best of them, and it was coming down to those breaks. They seemed coordinated. As you said, the communication was there, and who did you hear the most? It was Illy. Every single time, he's making this team tick. It's just whether he can get them on the right ticking rhythm, if you like, by the time they do get over towards New York. But it's good signs on Barrage, and maybe we'll get some better signs here on Berlin Search and Destroy, which is going to be coming up now. As mentioned, this is a good one for the side of Ultra. What is the bounty match for this week? It's one of the bounty matches. There's plenty of them, let's be honest. Can they get the job done here and give themselves some confidence heading into the major? I think it will be a big boost for them and a big boost for their fans. If they can find a comfortable win here, then maybe they get into my little pool of potential winners. But we're into the game, Brycey. Berlin Search and Destroy coming up.
Well, let's jump into this game. Berlin has started. I know. Get your cheers in the chat, because we are going to see some gameplay. At the moment, Ultra playing this a little bit slow. Apart from that first player, Paulehx has managed to find a pick, but he's here alone. Are they trying to bait out A?
I'm wondering if they're trying to bait out this flank here, but there has been some activity over towards that side, but Paulehx is finding picks left, right, and center. Shotzzy will fall, and all of a sudden, there's Illy and Scump left in between a rock and a hard place.
Oh, the next game eventually gets picked here, bringing back to a 2 versus 3. However, a little bit of information there for Ultra. They're now going to know roughly where at least one player is. What can they hold? It's like playing what I like to call the hook position. You kind of waiting for a flag to come through, and the timing may not be there for Illy. I don't know if he's been seen. I don't know what's going on. Neither of them have seen each other. Bomb is down for Ultra.
Ships in the night here for Insight and Illy. Either way you play it, Insight's in a better position for his team. Illy will get taken down. Yeah, the island position working out for Insight. Scump take him off that island momentarily, and Cammy and Bance have got some defensive work to do here on this bomb down at A. Bance still positioned perfectly. Ultra will find a nice attack on the back of, well, you know, we talk about individual players when it does come down to Ultra. We talk about insight on the island. Cleanex was the guy in the aggressive form towards the beginning of that round. He's moving forward, trying to find some picks. And as soon as that first pick comes on through, OpTic are then coming. They're saying, right, okay, well, we got somebody pushing over towards this A side. What's the decision to be made? Ultra, wait for them to make that decision. Cleanex makes the decision for them by finding that second kill, and OpTic suddenly have to kick it to gear. And from there, it's an easy round for Ultra.
Well, they are on a great streak on this map, and they are trying to continue it. A little bit of push coming in from OpTic. The door's going to be open. They're going to know that somebody is at least around those outer steps. Secret open as well for them, and Scump going to get into fire, and he gets the first blood on the Cammy. Good position now for OpTic. They have a lot of control here just because Scump's in fire. Cleanex gets one back on the Willy. And Scump is hunting. Scump is looking. Scump is seeing. Scump is killing. And Bats goes down. And they bring this back to a 2 versus 3. OpTic do not have bomb, but they do have the numbers.
Getting Scump into fire there was just, I was going to say a master stroke, but it's just one of those positions that's so strong. Now can the trade come on through? Yes, it can. Insight will fall. It's now a 2 versus 1 for OpTic. Cleanex managed to find a couple of kills in that previous round. Can find one here to make it a 1 versus 1. He's got a chance, and he's creeping up on Dashy. Top 3 holding the cross.
Doesn't see him yet, but he is slowly but surely making his way. Cleanex will see Dashy.
Got him.
Brings it back to a 1 versus 1. Scump, so far, doing the work in this round. Can he find the last and the most important?
I think he planted that for Ticket's side. And then there's play on the other side of the map here, so he's maybe running a little bit of a risk there. Not quite. No, sorry, it is play for the fire side, and that's where Scump is ready and waiting. There you go. Here comes the kill, and there it is. Well played from Scump. Just hold his line. I thought the bomb was planted on the side, and that he was maybe playing the bluff of like, oh look, I planted it for Ticket, but no, he had indeed planted it for fire side. It's the 4th kill coming on through for Scump. An important one for OpTic as they tied up.
Yeah, pretty clinical. And I mean, it was Scump getting that map control. It's a risky strategy, getting out of secret and trying to make a push through, but Scump held it, managed to get the kills he needed to. And yeah, just the catalyst of that round. OpTic taking everything they could going through. And yeah, Scump on a 3 streak and well deserved. Pulled them out of the fire a little bit. And here they go. They are pushing deeply into A this time. Cleanex might try and make the same play.
Both two teams do have some positives when it does come down to these neutral attacking setups. When I say a neutral attacking setup, well, okay, it might well be broken here by the side of OpTic Texas, who are not being neutral or defensive on their defensive rounds. Cleanex ready and waiting for the pick, though. We'll find the first. Insight will find the second. And the aggression does not pay off for OpTic on the defensive side of things. Illy and Dashy on their way over. Dashy already dead. Illy very, very weak. This should be around 2 Ultra unless Illy can literally pull a rabbit out of his hat here.
Yeah, the problem was always going to be there. As soon as that second nade hit, he's going to be found. He knows where he is. The players will just take up positions, looking over every single position he could come from. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, a 1v4 is never really that possible. It's always the exception rather than the rule. But when you've been found and the bomb is down and you have to try and get through some choke points, it's just never going to work.
Yeah, extra hard, I would say, in that situation. But, I was about to talk about the neutral setups. Ultra kind of went with one there. They were pushed up Ticket. Of course, the answer to a neutral setup and why it works so well is sometimes when the defensive side gets a little bit aggressive, you're there for the picks. And case in point, for the side of Ultra there, Cleanex finds one down the outside. The trade tried to come on through. Ultra find the second, and then it's pretty much curtains from then on in. But it's going to be a B hit here from OpTic, the #1 offensive team, going aggressive, and Shotzzy will get this one down. They're set up perfectly, the dogs, so Ultra have got work to do here.
Well, Scump has actually put himself in a great position. Keep it on that mini-map. He's hit the flank, he went through secret, he's got on the outside. I don't think they know he's here. You can already see Ultra trying to look for him just in case. I don't know if he's been seen. That has been called out as well. Cammy did see him, but 26 seconds left here for Ultra. They have to move.
Yeah, they do have to start moving very, very quickly. 20 seconds now. Dashy ready and waiting for anybody on the cross. Cammy's going to be the first one through. Well, I was about to say the door, but it'll be the window. Bats towards the back. Cammy towards the front. Shotzzy will fall. Is this doable for Dashy? If he could have found the second, then maybe, but the flank was in. A lovely, lovely retake from Ultra. And I think for me there in that situation, as soon as they find Scump, he was kind of the ace in the hole for OpTic there. If he can get right behind, even just stay alive, he's in a perfect position. But Ultra must have spotted him.
Yeah, I think so. They were definitely looking for him. You could see the arrows on the minimap furiously communicating that they may have just seen a hint of him somewhere, maybe crossing plat. That player from P5 might have spoke him out, but that's so typical of Ultra as well, by the way. The slowness, the glacial slowness of which they cross across that map, looking for players, checking corners. It feels frustratingly slow when you see that clock ticking down, but they hit it as a group and they put the numbers where they needed to, and it's what makes them so dangerous on S&D.
Shotzzy could have done with winning his gunfight inside the point. MP40 in hand at that range up against Cammy, you would have probably put your house on Shotzzy walking away with the kill there. Doesn't happen. Ultra now making their move, looking like another neutral setup. They've sent Cleanex out once again to try and find something. Is Shotzzy going to be the victim on the list here? Shotzzy's taking some bullets from mid-map as well. Cleanex will clean it up. Scumpy is there as well. What is that snap? Cammy will find one more himself, and Illy is left alone.
Oh, he's been stunned as well. They know exactly where Illy is, and Cammy says, all right, I'll have a little chat myself. It's a 1 versus 4, my friend! And oh, Illy almost got a dirty little snap on the Cammy, but it's not going to be enough. Ultra take another round in this S&D.
Yeah, looking very good from the side of Ultra, showing why they're on an 8 spree. And it's kind of the same play. Once more, it's leaving that one player to go and do the business. The rest of us will chill, see what we can hit. See if you can finally pick, see if OpTic get over aggressive. But Cleanex is just finding routes behind them time and time again. As we talked about, when it does come to both these two teams, the numbers specifically, 64% of neutral setups for the side of Ultra come out as a win. 71% of the time, OpTic are finding those neutral setup wins. But OpTic have been rushing over towards B quite a lot in this one. It hasn't been too fruitful for them. They're going to do it once more.
Well, Bans has been hit and is going down towards B again. It's going to be Scump. He plays Secret, he plays Ticket. Unfortunately, Ultra have found him twice. And they have the numbers again. Same scenario. Cammy has just hit a bullet from about 500,000 miles away. How on earth he got Illy there? I'll have to see that in a replay. But now, incoming Bans. He's waiting for some teammates for this one. They want to clean out the back as well. 26 seconds to play with. He's checking the corners. He's going to look for his shots. He's got it. Still a 2 versus 2. This is great for OpTic.
18 seconds to go. They've got to find Shotzzy in and around it. Cammy, does he get the jump on him? He does not. Shotzzy, another kill on the bomb site. Checks it once more. Insight will find one. I don't think Dashy will be peeking this in the next few seconds. He will not. OpTic Texas will get around back. They claw it back, if anything. Shotzzy going big inside the point. Dashy will put the pin in that one. Nicely done from OpTic. And I think that's the thing. When you allow a player like Shotzzy in and around that site and you don't have an SMG to answer him, it's always a hard gunfight. Cammy won it the last time around in unexpected circumstances, and Bance there. Slow peek with an auto is always going to be difficult up against a player like Shotzzy with an MP40 in his hand there.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. Shotzzy just made the difference. He hadn't found any kills yet so far in his S&D, and he finds 2 brilliant ones to bring that round towards them. Ultra now going for the setup, and that's information for inside. Dashy almost just takes him down. Not quite, and it looks like OpTic might be going for a bit of mid-map control. Look at where they are stacking here. Ultra haven't made a play towards any side either. Cammy's going to find Shotzzy, but Shotzy's still alive.
83 HP, gets out as well. Not many bullets went in from Cammy. Keep an eye on Cleanex once again, though. He is finding so much success at getting through on the A side. The gunfight's going to go his way as well. Scump will be first to fall. Expect Ultra now to kick into gear, but Shotzzy is also behind.
I'm looking for him, and that's a huge kill from Shotzzy. It forces Ultra to worry about the flank through P5 just a little bit more. Illy trying to get that nade out, and he wanted to get it onto bomb, but he can't. But Cleanex going to be on flank again. Finds one, tries to get out. It's not going to work. 2 versus 2 now. Ultra have bomb down.
Push from Secrets coming in from Shotzzy. I think Dashy will maybe wait for him to make a play, but he's trying to make the play with them both on the flank. Ultra well set up here, though. Shotzzy will have to gun Cammy. He will not be able to do so now. Dashy left. 1 versus 2 for Ultra to go 5-2 up. He's already been spotted.
Vance runs away, but Dashy says, all right, I know you're not going to tell me again for this. I'm going to go straight for it. Maybe gets onto the side and oh my goodness, thank goodness Vance was there. That may be one of the most dirtiest turns on I've seen. Oh, I might have to see that one again, Ton. That was kind of crazy.
I mean, thank the Lord for Benjamin Vance. You saved your blushes. Was it Cammy in the site?
Yeah. I don't understand. Cammy had him dead to rights here, by the way. Look, I don't know whether Cammy was just missing, but Dashy turns around and spits on him with 4 health.
Whew. It's a good job we're after hours. This is supposed to be a kid's show, right? I don't know. That was disgusting from Dashy. It doesn't result in anything, but I mean, nonetheless, you hate to see it happen if you're Cammy, but I don't think you'll care that much. 5-2 up for the side of Ultra. Can OpTic find something here? Once again, it's a fast B, but can they be set up for the retake this time? They cannot. Bantam will be the first to find Scump. This is going to be difficult now.
I feel like I've seen Scump give away more first bloods in S&D than I have in 10 decades of competing. But it's all good. They have Shotzzy in and around that B-bomb again. They still have some numbers to defend this, and they do have that time furiously going down.
Next kill's huge.
They're looking for him. Phoenix knows there's got to be somebody back here, and he finds one. Do they know that the second player is back here? Shotzzy's still going to be in sight. Ultra have got no time for this.
13 seconds, they gotta go. You gotta push the set. There's 4 of them in there. Oh my goodness me, they've got to jump on it very, very quickly, but Dashy lines them up. 1, 2. Give him the third.
Oh,
phenomenal from Dashy. The shots are accurate. But Ultra just left themselves no time there. Dashy's got to hit the shots there, but ultimately, it's a pretty easy 1 versus 3 as far as they go. 7 seconds, they've got to jump on it. Yeah.
They had no choice. They looked for Dashy forever. Just the best hide-and-seek play you'll ever see. It's an easy 3 for him in the end. Pulls out the pistol to finish it. But yeah, time. Time was the issue for Ultra there. They were looking for the players. They went a little bit too slow. They burn everything they can, and eventually Dashy said, all right, just let me hold down this button and see Ultra evaporate.
And I think for the side of Ultra, if they do have to go on another defensive round, they may well just try and keep OpTic off it. But my goodness me, somebody get a read on Cleanex. How many times have we seen him in this position? He's causing absolute chaos for the side of Ultra. And now you can see Ultra kick into gear. There's the information for them. Shotzzy with the first to fall. Scump will find a return. Shot's going to be in Noah, but look at the flank that's coming in from Illy. This could be instrumental for the side of OpTic.
Oh, now they have some good positioning. Cammy Illy, who'll be the dagger here as well. Ban's trying to stay alive, getting in towards Ticket. They're going to try and just close him down. Cammy needs to back him up at some point. Bans is just in a horrible position. He does manage to win a gunfight, but he will go down, leaving Cammy in this 1 versus 2. He's going to see Scump here on the stairs as well, down to a 1 versus 1. Not a lot of time left, though.
Sees him. Knows what he needs to do. Dashy. Is he expecting the challenge? Dashy is. So was Cammy. Another one wants to stick or twist. 60 HP for Cammy.
He stunned him. He stunned him. He threw the preemptive stun, and Dashy's going to go for it as well, though. And Dashy wins the 1 versus 1. They were dancing around each other. Cammy decides to commit, but Dashy comes out on top. Huge in the end.
Clutching up. Clutches up again, Bryce. Match point is still there for Ultra. The stun comes on down. That's a 4 streak for Dashy. Evaporates Cammy, by the way. The rat-tat-tat-tat gets the job done. Ultra are leaking rounds now. And I wonder if they're answering the call over towards B. Is it going to be that hit once again from OpTic? The fact that Dashy has the bomb makes me believe that it surely isn't going to be. And you can see Ultra, they've had to answer that. There's 3 members over towards B now.
I think towards A here, OpTic can play this. They are waiting desperately for it as well. Cleanex, though, managed to get Shotzzy. That first blood for Ultra coming in again. They had a good S&D, but it was going against them. They need to convert this now because 5-5 is a scary prospect against OpTic.
Especially with the momentum that OpTic have had. They've been finding rounds quite successfully over the last 3 or 4. Cleanex will fall, makes it a 3 versus 3. But what's the play for OpTic here? 45 seconds remaining. Bad's getting very, very aggressive. Illy and Dashy both just connecting at the same time. And now all of a sudden it's a 2 versus 3 for Ultra. And OpTic haven't really made their move yet. They are slowly running out of time though.
Oh, and he gets it. It goes down to Insight for a 1 versus 3. If Ultra ever needed their clutch master general, it's now. He's done it 1,000 times. Can he do it 1,000 more? But no, down he goes. It's 5-5. Ultra dominant the entire way through the S&D, but now on the cusp of throwing all that in the bin as OpTic resurge into this game.
It's been the OpTic attacks. They found, I think, 3 in the last, well, I believe 4 that they've had. Holding down the defenses, the clutch plays from Dashy, and all of a sudden what felt like, it never felt like Ultra left 4th gear in this search and destroy. But OpTic have came up through those gears and found the extra one that they needed. As we head into round 11, 5 streak for Dashy. Is he going to make it a 6? Not quite. 72 HP. He's quite healthy still. Shotzzy still making the push over towards B. Has been so successful. They go again, and Ultra do not have an answer.
They've let him do it. Shotzzy's got it down. The doors will be destroyed, and Shotzzy takes a little bit of a bullet here. Ultra will be trying to commit, but they have Overwatch. OpTic, all the players left up, and Ultra still on the other side of the map.
Stuck in the mud at the moment. They need to get rid of Shotzzy. They're not going to be able to do so. Panther with the first to fall. Cleanex will be the second to be fought.
It's a total collapse, an absolute collapse from Ultra. OpTic are locked in, and Inside managed to find one, but there's no way they give him the time. He's left in a 1 versus 3, and down he goes. Ultra have just blown the lead on S&D, and OpTic go 2-0 up in the series. Oh my goodness.
That is one you cannot let happen if you are Ultra. 1v3s from Dashy, 1v1s from Dashy. The amount of times they were able to get over towards B. The free plant can happen quite often. It's not something that we would typically see happen so many times though. It's like Ultra, as soon as that bomb was going down, it was working for OpTic, and they seen it was working for them and just kept doing it, and Ultra did not have an answer for it. Didn't have anybody maybe pushing around the flank towards trains. They were very happy to set up passively, wait for OpTic to be proactive, and then they would have to be reactive, but they couldn't react quick enough. It felt so many times that they were stuck in the mud. They need to retake quickly. You need to get flanking back towards Doc. Very, very sharpish. You need to be finding kills so you can make it easier. But Shotzzy inside the side, he was the one that was then clutching up if needed. Dashy was then there towards the back, even if they did find Shotzzy. So many setups over towards B, working out so well for OpTic. But I think Ultra will be wanting to go to the drawing board on that one, Brycey, and sort of figuring out a way of how to counteract that, because they didn't seem to have that answer there.
No, and it's a difficult conversation to have because it puts Ultra in a horrible, horrible position. And I just want to paint this picture one more time. Ultra could really do with these 10 points. If they don't win this game, they're in the losers bracket. They could go out with no more points from that. There are a bunch of teams chasing this, and they could all overtake OpTic at the major. And with the game we have remaining, it all counts. It all matters. It is horrible, the prospects for Ultra, and they will need a clutch up at the major if they don't get this. But I honestly don't know what is going to happen. I do know, though, that OpTic are up 2-0. They're looking better. Ultra will need a reverse sweep from somewhere. But all that rests on the control, and we'll see that right after the break.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew and Zenny. Armor your eyes with Blocks gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL. Upgrade your game with a Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. We have a beautiful game. OpTic Texas versus Toronto Ultra. Currently, OpTic are up 2-0, and one of these regions is going to be our Scuff play of the game. You're going to see Dashy here getting 3. They line up for him, and this time it's good for OpTic turn.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic from Shotzzy to stay alive. And well, Ultra just didn't clear out the backside efficiently enough. It's the play of the game, but Dashy himself would tell you, easy peasy, line them up. And for Ultra, they kind of had no other option there. They couldn't find him. They know he's going to be towards the back. You preempt something and hope for the best, but Dashy, patient and accurate. And that's all he needed to be. And that was a big round. That was the start, really, of the comeback for OpTic, wasn't it? It felt like Ultra were walking away with it. Dashy finds that 1 versus 3. And that B tactic keeps on working for them, and they keep it going. And Ultra did not have an answer to it. Very well played from OpTic, now 2-0 up in the series and heading over to a map they have not played in quite some time, but there's a good reason for that, Brycey. They're pretty good at it.
They certainly are. Statistics kind of heavily in OpTic's favor for this one, and not just the statistics, kind of the momentum of this game. You got to feel for Ultra at the moment. They haven't been the best this stage, and going down 2-0 against OpTic, it almost feels like this game is done and dusted. Is there a reverse sweep? They got to win earlier in their qualifier runs with 1, but doing it again? Oh, I don't know.
I just don't see this route. I would have said they absolutely have potential to win this series. I think, you know, they take that search and destroy. You've then got a Tuscan hard point that they've looked really good on. And then you head into a map number 5 and you never know which way it could go, especially with the form that, you know, they have shown in S&D in the past. We know they are a solid S&D team overall. But then looking at it, the Gavutu control, for me, we would have always give this over towards the side of OpTic. I believe that Ultra needed a map before heading into this one. But, you know, they were the ones who technically picked this. They could have been playing Tuscan instead, which we were arguing that wouldn't have been a bad shout. But Tuscan hardpoint map number 4, Bakars Search and Destroy in map number 5, which is also a good map for OpTic. Whichever way you spin it, it does not sound good for the side of Toronto Ultra.
It certainly does not. Of course, we've been talking about this before the game. We'll give you a little bit of a reminder now. Our production doing a great job on keeping us abreast on everything that should happen, depending on how this game goes. If Texas close this out 3-0, that means they will lock in 8th seed, and LAG will be 9th for the major. It also means that mathematically, I believe, London and Seattle will clinch a playoff spot for champs. I have to go back and double check the maths on that one because I thought they already had, but all good anyway. Obviously, there are some permutations left depending on how Texas win this. If it goes the distance, I think LAG might be 8th and Texas in the losers bracket. I think LAG wins the head-to-head on strength of schedule, which is one of the tiebreaker things we have to go down and kind of keep an eye out for. But yeah, there are a couple of permutations to come through here, but we'll have to find out how that plays out because we are about to go straight into the control.
God bless the League Ops. They can do that job, Brycey. I ain't trying. I'm not messing with it. I've done it before in the past, and it's burnt me. Speaking of burnt, you haven't commented on my nose yet. It's very burnt at the moment, and well, Toronto Ultra.
Sunglasses done.
Yeah, it could be any color. At this stage, though, OpTic Texas will be feeling very, very nice in this series. They're heading into a map they have not played since May, but it's one they will have confidence on. They've got Ellie back in the lineup. Control for them has been solid. Gavutu, not many maps better for them on this than this either. 6-1 is their record. Ultra hit and miss as of recent. It's been more miss. Let's see if they can get the job done here and maybe make a series, but I don't feel too hopeful for them.
No, but sometimes the best games are the ones where the underdog pulls something out of the fire. And that's exactly what Ultra have to do. Unfortunately, the fire is where they are. Only Cammy left alive. And he's going to try and stay alive towards boat because he does not want his teammates put into that spawn trap that we see so often on Gavutu. Control and just diving around top boat. Eventually gets the kills going down. Scump's going to go for the chat towards the front and he's going to try and make it. And Scump does eventually get that kill. Ultra have to regain.
Managed to get some boat control here, though. Insight now pushed up towards the tank. This should be a good chance to lock in here if you're the side of Ultra. Lives completely even. OpTic do want to have a look here. They don't want to give this one up too easily, and then we talk about it so many times that it does come down to, well, any game mode when it does come down to Gavutu, plenty of ring control. Yeah, well, OpTic did have that, but they've lost every other gunfight apart from it, so A looking like it is going to go over towards the side of Toronto Ultra. And, well, OpTic don't have any map presence here at all. That ring control is now over towards Ultra. Cammy ready and waiting. Can he lock it down? There's Scump, the first one to fall. Shotzzy can answer back, and OpTic a little bit more control than they had a few seconds ago.
Oh, they've been very, very good at holding down this B-side OpTic. Every time we see him on it, Scump towards the back here. Looking for the players he knows coming, but it will be Dashy who cuts him down in the end. Ultra will have to find a way through the green wall. At the moment, they're not being able to do it. You can already see, though, OpTic doing a great job of pushing up the map after they got a couple of kills, and Crimsix managed to find one. There are 2 players from Ultra who are now taking control of radio.
Trying their best to get that control. But look where OpTic are. Shotzzy all the way in the spawn. He's going to be causing havoc. These players can all flank. P1 control is kind of ultimate, though, isn't it? You can look over towards the site. You can stay alive. You can wrap back around mid as well. It's a really good position to be in, but Ultra really sending it over towards the back here. And Illy and Co. aware of Cammy towards the back. They are, but the shots have not landed. It's almost like a complete flip here. You can see where Ultra are. They can get rid of Dashy here. They're in such a good spot. They are going to get rid of Dashy, and now here we go.
Oh, that's a huge gunfight from Illy. He gets one inside, trying to hold down P1 as well. They do not have the numbers. Bans getting Illy down with a grenade. OpTic trying to get through. Bans getting a second kill. And Inside knows exactly where that last player is. They dive on the site. Somehow Bans is just doing all of the work they need from him. That's a 4th one from Bans. How on earth is he pulling this off just towards the back, holding Ultra in this at the same time? That's a 5th for Bans. And it's ticking forward. It's a 6th. No, it's not a 6th for Bans. Doesn't get it in the end. It will eventually go down. And there's 3 lives left for OpTic. And 3 might be enough.
Damage is already done. They are going to force Ultra away, and that makes things a little bit scarier. Bans will find Scump, though. 2 versus 8 sounds a little bit more daunting. Dashy will find one at the Kleenex, and Bans will then fall. This would be miraculous. The time is on their side. They just need to stay alive.
They cannot lose a player. Ultra have to get in position. It's a 4 versus 2. They need to find these players, and Bans finds one. The last player alive, it's Dashy. Can he pull off the miracle? He finds the first, but not the second. It's a stretch too far. It's just not going to be the Cinderella story for OpTic on that first round of control. But Ultra got to be sweating.
Yeah, things got a little bit scary for a second, but outside of the permutations and how exactly it did happen, attacking rounds are being harder and harder to come by as the season has gone on. The statistics in terms of attacking rounds won has dropped every single stage when it does come down to KV2 control. Toronto Ultra say, well, yeah, that doesn't matter. No. Honestly, it was just a slaying game, a push in the route to be. Bans did fantastically, and it was constant spawn kills coming on through for them. Now they need to hold on to their defenses, and they're good to go for their reverse sweep to potentially stop Pricey.
It certainly is, but let's find out how Ultra are feeling with a listener in to kick this round off.
Listen, I'm going to deep pinch and kill him off spawn.
Yeah, he's hopped up.
Nice, good shit. One more cliff, I think.
Yeah, top probably. Check over here.
Illy's gone cliff. Illy's gone cliff for Dashy. Illy's gone cliff already. Low cliff.
Yeah, low cliff.
That's your point. Scump is on me.
Nice. Down, bro. Their steps. And Scump as well. On their steps.
But he's top cliff killing me. Top cliff. Top boat. Top right boat.
Scump still.
With Scump. One's ladder on me as well, Illy. So two. Oh shit, one's mid on me.
They might have got
S1. Shotzzy, go on and bring it, look like.
Hey, one mid.
Mid-time,
Nice.
Top boat, I'm hiding.
I'm there.
I'll shout out the green for you.
One already pushed.
One already green, do you want to play? One shot, right side, top boat.
What's the
bang him. No, he's oil, he's backed up oil. Gotta get to the right. Oil. Nice. Top boat, dead. Nice, do that. Top left boat.
Dashy.
Top left boat, yeah. Shotzzy. I'm sprinting straight to the... I'm going to top for now. Go top left boat still. You guys play for top left dead. Nice. Top left boat, I've got cliff. Oil.
Yeah, one more. That's one.
Nice, Dashy still. Top boat still. Their stairs. We can nade.
Nade plus you guys, okay?
Yeah.
Might have to
be on their side, I'm pretty sure. Drop low. Top boat, really weak. Right side. He's going to the water ladder. Right side. Dashy top. That's the streaks, by the way. We need to catch.
Well, the majority of the Ultra comms there are where is Dashy? Where is Dashy? He's still alive. He's still top boat. He's still doing the work he needs to. 13.8 seconds left on the clock here for OpTic. And A, slowly but surely ticking in.
13 seconds remaining here, though. Ultra are not going to fancy their chances of getting a hold of this once again, and that really would have been dangerous for the side of OpTic. But Insight winning that gunfight somehow on the outside. We'll slow down this push over through green. OpTic obviously going to try that route. You can see Ultra already set up over towards P1. Total control for them. If 15 lives remaining either side. These next couple of kills are important. Inside, he's going to get pinched though. Scump will find it, and a little bit of a flank on the cards here now for the side of OpTic Texas.
Yeah, Ultra need to be careful. OpTic are looking to execute here. The trades are going down in towards P1. Crimsix finding up top. Bands holding towards the back radio. Talking a little bit quiet here.
The kills.
He's trying to get through, but Ultra are failing. They are not holding the cuts they need to. Cammy taking down Scump is huge, but it's going to be the player. It's going to be Bands. He's going to be in a position. He's going to just shut down OpTic enough. They would have been able to get on the site without him there. And OpTic still trying to claw their way forwards.
Next couple of gunfights are big. Shotzzy has found a route through, but well played from Ultra. They find every single one. Apart from the one that Illy can answer back with, but with 18 seconds to go, it's looking like a defensive hold here from the side of Ultra. OpTic would pretty much need a miracle.
Well, they do specialize in it. They find one, and now going for the push. They are desperately trying to get into this one as Cammy with a huge gunfight, and also managed to take down Illy with a grenade, and that will be all they wrote. It will be Ultra 2-0 up in this control. They hold against OpTic.
Nicely done. It can get very, very scary when you lose those players over towards that P1. It's all about map control, and from that point, you can move in so many different directions. If they are starting to wrap around your spawn, you've got a good angle from there. You can hold down mid from that point as well. You can see if they're pushing via, but there's so many different options for you, for the defensive team or the attacking team, when it does come down to that P1 control. Ultra never really let it go. And the one moment they did, they then won the gunfights to regain it, and map control was theirs once more. Really solid defense from the side of Ultra, who looked completely new here on the side of Gavitu. We questioned it, why they were coming into play, and we're seeing evidence of that now.
Now, for Ultra, just getting ticks on the board here and trying to continue moving forward. Not fully expected to win another round, but obviously a 3-0 will be wonderful for them. And Cammy almost gets a little bit of COD timing against Illy. Nade already being primed to try and take him down. And that is going to do exactly that. Illy cooks his own nade and gets his own kill.
I think I'm going to need a regain here. Capturing over here towards the side of Ultra. I think here to combat this as best as they can. Ultra seemingly just flowing in at the moment, have slowed things down. Cammy staying alive up top as well is always going to help things though, as OpTic now trying for the retake. P1 control is what Dashy's going to fight for. Just to try and stabilize the map, I would say. Just don't allow anything to push over towards B. You're losing the gunfight today as well. Never ideal, but Dashy staying alive could be important.
Oh, obviously, Ultra do want to stop this time, but OpTic have got players there every single step of the way. It actually looks like OpTic might give this up. Look at where they're spawning. They're not really making a kind of a big push towards it. They just want to keep their lives in the pocket.
Let's be honest, that's fine, because Ultra were quite far pushed up. They allowed the players coming in off respawn to be the ones who get that hit over towards A, get that control, get the point locked in. OpTic happy just to get a bit of map control and just slow things down. They know they can defend over towards B a little bit easier, but didn't really get that case in point in the previous round, as now Ultra will surely lock A in. Stack it just a little bit quicker. Cammy 23 and 14. Standout between both two teams so far. Minute added to that clock though, a minute and 20. It's not a great deal of time here for Ultra, but look at this stack towards green.
Well, time might be the problem for Ultra. They're not going to win this one on lives. And they took so much effort to break OpTic last time around. There's the nade, looking for the player towards the back. Shotzzy desperately trying to stay alive into this one, and Illy might have a little bit of flank on the Cleanix. He's going to find it, get the shots going through. Eventually cleans it up at the same time, looking for that second player as well. Illy doing everything he can onto the map here. Two Ultra players going round the outside, but they don't have reinforcements. They need to stay alive for it, but Dashy has already cut one to shreds.
Good defensive work so far from OpTic. Gonna get rid of Bands towards their spawn though, causing havoc once more. Shotzzy though, P1 control once again. How much I talk about it. The control is there. Second kill is not though. Cammy seems to be gunning at the moment. Scump will find the trade. Bands still in the spawn, but the problem is when you have that player there, if he's not finding the kills, the rest of you aren't finding kills, it's pretty useless.
Yeah, well, Bands last time went on about a 6 spree and barely actually managed to get towards the site in the end, so I don't think it's going to work as Scun just guns two of those, and oh my goodness, Shotzzy gets the last one here, but it's not going to be enough. Illy's got the cut. Ultra a mile away, and there's the defense for OpTic.
One that was needed. Now the objective is, gotta win this attack. You're back over towards your defense, you would like to hope. Well, let's see. Do I die for them in this control now? The problem is, I honestly just find that they didn't really threaten that much in the previous round. Let's see if they can do a little bit better here. They hadn't really threatened in the search and destroy up until about round number 4. And they walked away with the win there, so it does come down to the side of OpTic Texas. Anything is possible, Brycey.
I couldn't agree more with that statement. And now here comes the push. Look at this, OpTic. They desperately want this win. They want this straight in as well. So they've committed, and Ultra have not. Ultra do not have bodies over towards B, and OpTic are in. It's already ticking through, and Shotzzy's got the first blood. Bant is going all the way deep B to try and get this one. He sees the first player, and he just holds his gunfire, and Bant makes the play. He has stopped all of them by himself.
Like a scene out of Baywatch. Hair flowing in the wind as Benjamin Bance runs down and just wipes 2 of them out. Fantastically done. Mind you, I'm not sure what episodes of Baywatch I've been watching, but nonetheless, fantastic work from Bance and the smarts to hold the gunfire, and now OpTic in a very, very sticky spot.
Imagine the stress from Bance there, just worrying somebody was going to be like P1 or coming in behind him Beach, knowing they could shut him down any second. But OpTic, they made the bold call. They went for B. They got through. It could have been a lock there and then, but now they have to do the rest of the hard work. 1 tick on a B, no ticks on the way. Can they find everything they need?
I was about to say, the one positive they can take away is that tick over towards B. It will make the job a little bit easier if they get the chance to complete it. Scump up top now. A little bit of control over towards A. Trying his best to lock down this mid-map for the rest of his team, but look at Cammy running amok in the spawn of OpTic. Eventually will be dealt with though, so 12 seconds remaining here. And OpTic will get a little bit of purchase over towards B. Plenty of bodies inside the point. I don't know if Ultra will fight this too hard yet. They have the life advantage. OpTic don't have a great deal of time. Is it worth risking that position here for the side of Ultra just to stop them getting it?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to be. Ultra are actually committing a little bit to try and get these kills off the spawn. Obviously going to be in towards Green. They have to be careful of overcommitting. They cannot let anybody get through, and they're going for it. They're going through it. They're actually he's going to be the last one alive. He goes down as well. It. Ultra want this done and dusted. They do not want to give OpTic any chance to come back into it. Insight's going to be on the bottom boat, and that is going to be everything done. Ultra have found the control. It is not flawless for OpTic. It is not the 3-0. They are not locked into that winner's bracket yet.
Well, we questioned it. We said the Kavutu control. Why is it in there if you're Ultra? It was a case of pick your poison. They must add that. We do that, Bryce, because my goodness me, OpTic Texas, another loss, and it comes down to Kavutu control. They have not played it in quite some time. And I wonder if that's the play call from Ultra. They've been playing it recently. They maybe have found that little bit of form that they needed to. They had lost it twice in a row, but it was 2 round number 5s. But they find that attacking round and makes things easier in OpTic Texas. Don't have an answer this time around for Ultra. And all of a sudden, things turn on its head because we're heading to a Tuscan hard point that may well be soon Ultra when it comes down to the statistics when these two teams do match up. But yeah, it's all about that attacking round out of Ultra. The play from Bance towards Green. That's really what gets the job done. After that, you hold your defenses, you win the map.
And I said Ultra just managing to find something we didn't think they were going to. I know a lot of people were feeling this was going to be over. Also, by the way, can't really get over the comment about Benjamin Bance on the beach. Bit of Baywatch. Can't stop thinking about him in the Baywatch show now. He could have been in it. He's a great looking guy.
Do you think he had like a blonde wig, a full suit and everything?
I don't think he needs it. I think Bance just automatically fits into Baywatch, and that's how I'll remember him now forever.
I was kind of a vision of like him and Pamela Anderson hybrid, but
well, I mean, you could say that, but there's a new Baywatch. He could be The Rock, right? It could be. We're getting way distracted by this one. There's still an awful lot of Call of Duty to come in this series. Hardpoint is up next. And here's the difficult part for me, mainly because it kind of requires a lot of reading and thinking. Permutations are still alive. That 3-0 is clearly out of pocket. It no longer exists. We'll update you exactly what a 3-1 would potentially mean for OpTic. I think they still clinch winners bracket with a 3-1. With a 3-2, they don't. Obviously, if they lose this game, they definitely don't. And we'll have to see all the rest of the permutations going through. So
I say I'm going to stop you. If they tell me in my ear what happens, then that's when I'm figuring it out.
I like the permutation. So Toronto win, right? No matter the record, no matter what they do, right? If they 3-2 this, they get this all the way back through. They get 8th if Thieves win and 9th if Thieves loses. I don't know. That's the way it is. There's lots of things to come for. That's what a kind of match is for. And I'll warn you now. You think the permutations get a little bit complicated going into Major 4? Just wait till we start talking about at Major 4. What happens for champs? We've got a million things to tie break with. We've got teams all on the same points. What happens? Who's going to champs? We will be breaking down a ton of things, Tom.
I know. I often wonder what the whole like situation document is looking like. It's like, if this team finishes here, where do these have to finish? There's going to be too many situations to come out. It'll have to be on the fly, I would like to think. We're moving forward, start eliminating some people, and then we can try to gather our steps just a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be impressive if we can work it out. Nonetheless, though, relevant to the permutations, OpTic would like to try and get this done in 4, but looking towards Tuscan, Ultra winning 4 of the last 5, OpTic losing 5 of the last 7. Doesn't bode well. It really does not bode well for the side of OpTic Texas, but bear in mind, team changes around everything, you know, still playing Tuscan. Situation with iLLeY, where are we at with that? That's something to take in consideration when it does come down to these statistics, because, I mean, Berlin Search and Destroy was kind of the same. OpTic lost 3 of the last 4. They went on to win it. Ultra's 8-game win streak ended by pretty much Dashy and some of those phenomenal players that were coming on through for them. So the stats sometimes matter very, very little when it does come down to it. I'm curious to see if Ultra are going to come in with the fire. And map number 2 that they probably would have felt that they should have won. Map number 1, taken on the chin, no problem. But then to come in to win the control, they could have very, very easily been in prime spot here, Brycey, heading into their hard point. Feeling good about it. A 3-1 could have been on the cards, but now they need the reverse sweep. Because Search and Destroy potentially on the cards after this map, but a bit of a resurgence here from the side of Ultra.
It is in some good moods as well. The vibes are flowing. Inside is laughing. Paulehx is happy. And getting ready for this next one. If they do win one more map, Ultra, they will commit OpTic to the lower bracket at the Major. Lots of kind of breakdown for them. Just waiting for the fist bumps. It's always the fist bumps that give me the clue when a game is about to load in.
Yeah, I mean, the fist bumps have been flowing so far. Touch wood.
Oh, I don't know why you would have said that. That is a terrible
I jinxed it. Just heard the words of remaking lobby in my ear, and you can all blame me for that one. I mean, it was Brycey who was stopping the previous game from starting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just blame me. Just blame me now. I wanted to be here for 6 hours before our game. That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, this would be great. All right, let's talk a little bit more about these teams and obviously how they've been performing. Going on the side of OpTic, I think the biggest thing in this series for me has to be that S&D ton, right? Like, if they hadn't made that comeback so far, we would already be talking about them being in the lower bracket and what's happened for the rest of this one. But right now, the kind of the composure to figure out what Ultra were doing to get that fast B bomb down was a huge and significant kind of adjustment for them. Like, they saw it was working and they saw Ultra weren't really playing around that site, so they just kept committing. They kept putting players in there, and it meant Ultra didn't really have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, they ran with it completely. When something works, if something ain't broke, why fix it, kind of thing, isn't it? It seemed to work time and time again. Ultra did not have the answer, and honestly, I think it was the passiveness of Ultra, of how they kind of play in those situations, that kind of worked out for OpTic. They just needed to stay alive towards the back. That's all you need to do. If Shotzzy stays alive inside the site, bonus. Very well played though from the side of OpTic on that Search and Destroy, but not so much on the control. I wonder though, heading into a Tuscan hopefully shortly, they need the bounce back here.
I think realistically the pressure is still probably on Ultra. Like, yes, OpTic starting and losing is a bad thing, but for Ultra it's deeper than that, right? There are obviously going into like losers unless the LA Thieves thing, but also, like I said, those 10 points. We've talked about the bubble so much this split, and we started last split as well, because of how difficult it is going to be for teams to make champs if they fail to get wins. Ultra have already failed to make the wins, right? We've all been talking about New York, we've been talking about Florida, we've been talking about LA Thieves, LAG. Ultra, for the good portion of these online qualifiers, were deemed more or less safe. We figured they would get more points than they actually have. Well, but kind of the chickens have come home to roost. They haven't got the points. They haven't got themselves safe. Boston have done it. London have done it. Those are the two teams in serious trouble coming into it. They found their points. Ultra haven't found them, right? Here's what basically has to happen. Obviously, everybody's talking about New York could potentially make their way out and they get a first. They might be good. Mutineers get a couple of points. Thieves get some points at the Major. Guerrillas get some points at the Røkkr. Like, these teams could do it. They can genuinely do it. They can jump Ultra and get themselves safe. Ultra only have to go down 3 spots. And at a Major, it's not the hardest thing to do. If they go to that Major in lower bracket, they lose their first game, their champs run is all in everybody else's hands.
Precarious spot for the side of Toronto Ultra. A win here, you're very, very right, Brycey. It would be massive for the squad. Feels like that extra little buffer might just be enough. Might. But heading into a Tuscan hardpoint, I know we're saying might and probably won't. Who knows? OpTic Texas with an 8-5 record. By the way, that was 6 off the trot to kick off the game. But since then, they have not necessarily been the best. As mentioned, recent form has not necessarily been with them. For Toronto Ultra, much better on this map. Feeling confident that they could send this to map number 5, Chris.
Well, the pressure's on them. They've got to pull off this reverse sweep. They've done 1 so far in qualifiers. Can they find a second? We start off, though, with OpTic Texas. We're on board with Dashy. He finds the first one onto inside. He finds the second one on a bounce. Shotzzy says, hey, I'll try and get this one going through. But already they are putting the screws to Toronto.
OpTic, one of the worst teams on the game, if not the US team on the game, when it does come down to P1 on Tuscan. So far, so good. 13 points. P1, no problem this time around. Very, very good at holding down P2 when they do get inside as well, though. So if they can flip these spawns, they'd be looking even better. This is some solid time for the side of OpTic to kick things off.
Yeah, they're doing a great job here. Look at how aggressive Shotzzy is being all the way through and eventually gets found by Cammy. And OpTic have a huge wealth of time on that P1. Ultra will have to settle for the rotation. Can they find a way back into this? Not with the way that they've been playing so far. The slaying towards OpTic.
Just about. Nothing too much to worry about for the side of Ultra so far, though. We need to make sure that they don't get pinched. You can see Shotzzy over towards maps, waiting for the rest of his team to maybe find some activity over towards the back. First kill's going to come in from inside. Him staying alive is pretty much paramount for the side of Ultra to try and lock this down. Can't find the second, but Cleanex finds Shotzzy on the flank. Ellie and Dashy can answer back, but it is spawns in for OpTic. Still control of the hill for Ultra.
And they know where they're coming from. Scump's going to try and make this play towards the back there, but Crimsix is going to be there. He gets 2 as well, completely slowing down OpTic. Looking for the third, but Illy will eventually win that gunfight. Coming through again, he wins a second one. Illy with a 2-piece, not the third though. Ban shuts him down, but gets cut down by Dashy as players swarm in for these trades.
Rotations are going to start coming in just a second. 20 seconds remaining here over towards P2. Good kills from Cleanex. He will eventually get wiped out. Still forcing OpTic to spawn towards the back is going to give Ultra the advantage as we head over towards P3. Dashy could be the first one through the door, though, over towards mid-map. Can he be the spearhead here for OpTic as they try and find their push now? It's a 7-second game at the moment, but Ultra in control of P3.
Well, look at it. They're all pushing out towards it. They find inside, but there are players here from Ultra trying to put that bottle back in. Eventually, Dashy gets through into fire. A little bit of time here for Ultra, but the pressure is mounting. There are green OpTic players swarming towards this point. They get it off and they get in.
Look at this from Cammy. Found himself in a good spot. Bant's there to help out from Broken. And Ultra just about hold on due to Cammy staying alive in and around alley. OpTic don't clear it out. It's very difficult to really do anything if there's a player still there, just kind of flanking. Ultra still somehow holding off.
Oh, they managed to get that player straight off to the side here, but they've got to get through the bottleneck still. And Cleanex will try and jump onto it eventually. It will be Ultra who win the slaying out ton, and now we're off to the races and we go to church.
OpTic are going to be the first ones there, and we'll find some mid-map control. That's a lot of time for Ultra, though. OpTic in no position to fight for that scrap time, something we see quite often. Ultra were quite far behind after P1, but they've been very, very solid since. Wrap around through P2 is now starting to come as well. What's the angle here for OpTic to try and defend?
At the moment, Bance is going to try and get into that church here, but it's going to be all OpTic in the kill feed. Complete lockdown from them.
And Insight actually just pushes around straight over towards Tank. As soon as he sees his teammates fall, they get the spawn towards the back.
Oh, they're going to still try and put this pressure on. 35 seconds left to go, but Scump still holding towards the back here, and eventually it's not going to be Ultra with enough bodies really to get this done, but Cammy goes straight in, and Dashy gets two, though, and puts a little bit paid to the Ultra dream of cleaning this one out, and he gets a third one, just cleaning up the Ultra. And Bance finds two for the scrap time, and Shotzzy's going to continue to push this because they have the rotation.
How on earth is he? How is he still alive? My goodness. Shotzzy eventually falling, but it very much feels like the team who is getting this rotation is picking up most of the points. And well, okay, yeah, that is usually the case, but rotations so far have been what's deciding who's walking away with the most points. Is that going to be the case here as OpTic find a way through Insight, and Bance can answer back though. Still inside, but Ultra here, and reinforcements are on the way.
Well, Bance tries to make a big jump out the back there, and Clex eventually cleans it up for him. Can we get another one to the side, and it will be Ultra who eventually get into this one. And Clex gets one more down, and it's Ultra completely in control. They have been flooding through well over and over again here. And with 34 seconds left to go, they do have control of this point. Oh my goodness, Paulehx runs into three.
Yeah, Paulehx not going to be able to do much there. Talented young man, but that would have been something else. Ultra, though, really nice break coming up through with 20 seconds remaining. OpTic are going to have one more look at it here. Still three members of both teams over towards this P5 site. Insight and Paulehx finding the kills here. That's going to give Ultra the advantage heading over towards P1. Bance on his own, though. OpTic get the spawn here, and they will have that P1 locked in. So Ultra will need to find a break, but they have a lead.
Well, this is where it gets a bit difficult. Ultra do the work on P5, but if they don't do the work on P1, that lead all evaporates. And now Shotzzy going to try and hold it doon, but Cammy and Paulehx combining. iLLeY desperately trying to hold this one as players come from both sides. Somehow finds a two-piece under the hill, but they have been taken off at it. Insight on a 6 now. We'll be looking for that glide bomb. And Ultra have control.
Bear in mind that OpTic picked up, what, about 30 points of their 100. The first rotation over towards P1. It's looking unlikely they're going to be able to do it this time. The spawns were being held, but Shotzzy has, of course, found a route through, flips the spawns for OpTic. And they catch Ultra off guard here for the final 25 seconds, but the important thing is Insight. There's it. The glide bomb is secured. And all of a sudden, Ultra have that in their back pocket to try and help them break this over towards P2.
Well, Paulehx tries to do something towards P2, but unfortunately too many Green Wall members already sitting there waiting. Cammy knows where Shotzzy's going to be, and Shotzzy wins the gunfight anyway. It doesn't really matter for them. Ultra could commit to using the glide bomb to break this if they want to. They have it in the pocket. They're looking for the kills, and now the squeeze onto OpTic, who need this time.
Insight having a game. Always a difficult prospect for the other team to face when Insight is putting up these big numbers. We know he's going to do it in the search and destroy, but when he starts doing it in the respawns, it becomes very, very scary for the opposition. But this time around, OpTic will hold. 40 seconds remaining here over towards P2. Ultra will have maybe just another look. I can't imagine that Glamour will be coming in this time around. Insight gets iLLeY off the hill. Well-placed grenade. OpTic not getting time, not getting kills either. And Ultra will find a break, but not many points themselves.
But it's been all about trying to keep OpTic off of this one as Paulehx finds another one. Dips and dives and dodges, but iLLeY's there. Insight finds it. And now for Ultra, it's all about trying to lock this down again. Keep OpTic from coming back into this game by having P3. OpTic get the scrap, but they have to move and break this pretty swiftly.
Ultra starting to extend once more. Always nice to have that glide bomb there with you as well. Push is going to start coming in from the outside, but Cammy goes in to peek it. Surely is going to be traded, staying alive as long as he has done. Has that allowed the rest of the team to be there? No, not quite. Tile spawn for the side of Ultra. Insight accurate from there, but that's a good flip from OpTic here. 39 seconds remaining over towards P3. It's OpTic in control.
They're looking for this now, trying to get in towards it as well. They're going to know Bance is towards the back, surely. They're going to find him, but Bance finds a kill along with Cammy, and they are back into this point ton and trying to absorb the pressure they know is coming. Bance already knows the Scump is diving about for it, but somehow they've lost it, and Bance has to fight iLLeY towards the back. And again, every single direction is being fought at tooth and nail. But OpTic, with the scrap time, slowly but surely bleed this lead down.
And scrap time is just about the right word, to be honest with you. It was a very, very scrappy hill. Now that team able to get that ultimate control that you really do need over towards P3 now. Very, very difficult as of a couple of months ago to lock it down. But they get the job done towards the end. OpTic Texas have not necessarily turned this game around, I should say. But that gap has been reduced. Ultra inside the point. Can Ultra hold on, or can OpTic find a break?
Oh, Bats going to get cut down towards the top here. They're still getting this time, though. And reinforcements from Ultra flooding in. OpTic have to find this. They have to do something. They find 2 kills. And it's going to be Dashy as well. They clear it out, and surely... No, it's going to be Insight! And Insight doesn't get it. OpTic are in. Now, do Ultra try and contest this just a little bit, or do they go for the P5 commit?
Committing over towards P5, yep. But Scump ready and waiting. This band's going to be ready for it. Yes, he is. Finds the gunfire onto Scumpy, and that's going to be rotation locked in for the side of Ultra. They're 30 away. Glide Bomb's still available, and honestly, I don't think we'll see Insight even use it yet. Shotzzy will find one, but I think Insight's going to be keeping it for P1 if we do indeed get there.
Oh my goodness. Ultra have lost their players. They've lost their position. And now OpTic are in. Bats has to win this gunfight to try and give them an opportunity to come back through, and he finds 2 as well. Benjamin Bance holds it open for Ultra, and Bance found a 3rd. I thought OpTic were in. I thought they had it locked, but now they're reeling. Now they're suffering. Ultra are just trying to put them into the losers bracket right now. And they may have done it. I don't think anyone's really close enough. It's going to be Shotzzy who tries, but it's not going to be good enough. And Ultra win the hard point, and OpTic go to losers.
A reverse sweep on the cards. Toronto Ultra never looked likely after those first 2 maps to be getting themselves in a position to win this series. But they're in prime position now. 2-2. What a series this has been. It kind of shaped itself up after the first 2 maps to flutter away into the night, but here we are. It's early in the morning for us, Pricey, but I'd never be more awake for a Bacage search and destroy for map number 5. Toronto Ultra. When OpTic were winning the rotations, they always made it scrappy, but when Ultra had that rotation, 9 times out of 10, they locked in some solid time. And some big players out of players like Bance make the difference for the side of Ultra and Tuscan. And we have a Bacage search and destroy to finish things off.
I tell you something, I was down in Ultra, got away through that game, and even going towards that P5, I thought once OpTic broke it, they would have it, and then the P1 would come in, and we'd see just kind of destruction all the way through for it. But hey, we've gone back and forth. We know a few things. The score is 2-2. OpTic are in lower bracket. What remains goes all the way to a map number 5. And that'll be settled after this break. We'll see you right after this.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can. And upgrade your game with a Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. It is time to get into a map number 5, OpTic Texas and Toronto Ultra. It's 2 a.m. in the morning in the UK, and we're in the middle of a heat wave, but nothing is as hot as this game has been. Ultra looking for the reverse sweep. OpTic already committed to lower bracket at Major 4. The big prize on the win here, maybe for OpTic, a little bit of pride. For Toronto, 10 points they desperately need, Ton.
Yeah, they absolutely do need them as well, Brycey. But yes, couldn't be any better time to close out what will be our final game online for the CDL season, 2 a.m. I feel like it was destiny that we found ourselves here with OpTic taking on Ultra around that. Really, we should be seeing ourselves in a map number 5, I would say. I was about to say about 5. It wouldn't have been expected. I think, especially with how the maps have gone, I think the only ones that have kind of worked the way we thought they would are the hard points. Other than that, the search and destroy and the controls flip. So whose stock do we really invest in here when we come into map number 5 now? It's difficult to really say, but I think if you were to go against the team who have started this reverse sweep, have 2 maps in a row now, and looked in control for almost a moment in map number 2 and the other search and destroy, Toronto Ultra is probably who you would go with. But OpTic Texas, when it does come down to Prolute search and destroy, 1st in defensive win percentage, 9th in offensive is not the best. Prolute search and destroy, Ultra not that well versed on it. OpTic, can they take advantage of that?
Well, only time will tell us, and only this gameplay will show us the way. It kicks off on Prolute. We're on defense with Bats. Here comes the nades. Probably a little bit of information.
Only the 4th time that this has been played for the side of Toronto Ultra. So OpTic going for this, a neutral setup. It's not necessarily one that they have a lot of success with. 28% of the time they're winning this. If they are setting up for this pick, are Ultra going to be wary of this?
There's a lot of time burnt here from OpTic, and they'll be looking to commit, and Inside gets the first blood. OpTic all hovering around Barn, and Inside finds a second. Apparently they're chanting him, and Bans finds a third. It's now only going to be iLLeY left alive, and he finds nothing.
Wow. That's the kind of round that you want to see if you're a Toronto Ultra fan to kick off map number 5. As I said, I mean, Ultra have played this 3 times over the season. The last time that they played this map was the 25th of March. They haven't played it since the bomb site moved.
Wow, that's an interesting statistic. Very interesting.
I mean, I think so. It was definitely after the 25th of March, right?
I don't know. I don't remember the patch dates for every patch we've ever had.
Some commentator, you.
Oh, the caster in the chat, but we'll have to have a look at this game because Inside gets another first blood. One thing you don't want to see is Insight heating up on S&D.
I mean, how many times has the conversation been had? This man in search and destroy is an enigma. The push now coming in from Ultra. Looking like A is on the cards here, still wary. They know how quickly a round on Prolute can turn. So Ultra will dot their I's and cross their T's whilst they make their way over towards A. eLLeY will be in a position to maybe slow this down somewhat, but need something to happen. Scump could be the one to do it.
He's looking for it, finds one. What are Ultra doing? At the moment, it looks like a rotate. eLLeY confirming nobody quite on A, and Clinix finds Scump. eLLeY again, left to clutch, but this time it's a 1 versus 2 as he already gets the first. But he has been seen, now weak with it. Bomb going down. Can eLLeY find another one? He does, and he's going to get it! Inside versus eLLeY. A 1 versus 1. A 1v3 if eLLeY can make this. Did he see Inside? Did he see him? I think he did. I think Inside saw him as well. He's hunting, but so is Inside. They're crossing, and now he's on the bomb. eLLeY desperately trying to figure out where he is. This is going to be a fight right here, right now, and inside. iLLeY with the 1 versus 3, and the time, and the defuse. That is an absolute dagger to Ultra, who thought they had that round the bag.
My God, iLLeY is an absolute horse. That is ridiculous. That last gunfight, every gunfight. I mean, okay, this one was pretty easy, but from here, it's still a difficult job. Cleanex only gets a bullet off in this gunfight. Oh, the snap in the first bullet from iLLeY. That is disgusting. And that's the kind of thing that can give you momentum. You were 2-0 up. The game was slipping out of your fingers. That's a 2-0 lead for Ultra, really. It should be. And now it's 1-1.
Oh, what a gain from OpTic. What a clutch. And at the moment, OpTic are playing it slow again, and Shotzzy almost takes the bullets to take him down, but not quite.
Again, this neutral setup from OpTic, it's not one that really is too successful for them. Again, explain neutral. They sit up, they wait for a pick, but it's looking like it's going to come through slowly for the side of OpTic. Decide without that pick, they have that map control. They do so. Ultra not in a position to answer immediately, but we'll look for the retake slowly.
Ultra have no info, like literally none, and iLLeY taking the last few going through, and Crimsix is going to find him. He knows where Scump's going to be. iLLeY and Dashy combining. Can we get it back to a 2 versus 2? But time is ticking, and Ultra have to go. It's now a 1 versus 2 again. Shotzzy the clutch. They're looking for him. They're trying to figure this one where it's planted for, and he's away. It's time. It's time again for Ultra.
It never seems to be on their side. And Shotzzy can now just peek this. Cammy, he doesn't have the angle on him though, and the bullet's already in. It looked signed, sealed, and delivered, that one. But Cammy just about stretches it long enough that it's not a comfortable shot for Shotzzy to take. And Ultra will find the round. And again, we talk about that momentum swaying left and right. Felt like things could have maybe got a little bit out of control if iLLeY didn't clutch. Felt like things could have got really out of control for Ultra if Shotzzy had managed to do that there.
Crazy scenes in the S&D. High stakes, high octane. But this game is definitely coming down. After that first round, it's been a good regain from OpTic. And they won't have liked the fact that they went down there. But slow opens the barrage on round number 4. Peaks from both teams. Information to be gained. We'll know when things start to commit. When the nades start coming out from Ultra.
Look by Shotzzy's line. It's very, very interesting. He's going to take a grenade hit, but they won't really know. It's, of course, just over that ledge. An interesting little spot. Scump's the prime one here, though, for the side of OpTic. Which way are Ultra going to go? They're leaving it with not much time. Cabby will the first to fall. Scump gets out.
Huge first blood there for OpTic, and there's the second, but it's come back by Cleanex. And inside, bring it back to a 2 versus 2 again. What are Ultra going to do?
Very much taking their time on every single attack, and it might actually bite them in the behind here. 25 seconds, got to do something. Dashy falling will make it easier. But do they have eyes on Scumpy? Yes, they do. 1 versus 1. And it's going to go the way of Ultra. So slow, and I think it's playing with OpTic. They're expecting pushes to come through, and Ultra are just steady away, waiting for them. These neutral setups are neutral for so long that OpTic aren't able to read it.
Well, it is coming down to such a tiny thing there. Scump knew where that last player was. Maybe he could have snapped. Maybe he could have done something magical. But I feel like some of these rounds shouldn't be coming as close as they are. And OpTic, I think, are trying to change the pace of this now. They are going for a fast A plant. They are moving with some speed.
Ultra going to be ready and waiting this time around. Camby will find the first. It will get traded. Shotzzy with the bullets in. But now that's given Ultra the opportunity to at least rotate around here. Inside has to get out. That first grenade hits. The rest will follow, but it's Cleanex who finds the kill on iLLeY. Bomb down now as well. OpTic are flopping.
Well, I'll tell you something, that was a timed double nade actually from Ultra. You didn't tell because Crimsix threw it from a different part of the map, but it was a coordination that got it done. 2 versus 3, though. OpTic still have an opportunity. It's gone. Never mind.
Here we go, Bryce. This is Ultra starting to walk away with it. They've been 2-0 down in this series. It looked dead and buried going on to a map that I think, well, 99.9% of the community would say probably going to go over towards OpTic. Don't think you would have found many people that would have thought Ultra would find the comeback via a Kavutu control. But
it's kind of mad,
remember map number 2, though. Ultra were completely in control of the search and destroy, and things turned very, very quickly.
They did, but at the moment, OpTic's only round has come from an illy 1 versus 3 clutch.
Very true.
And again, we go slow. OpTic have been finding first bloods, but it gets traded back very, very quickly from Ultra. Scump again may be the man to watch. When Ultra commit, there is a high chance they're going towards A. There's a high chance he can make a difference.
When Ultra are committing, though, it seems like they've got everybody around. We've seen a couple of 2 versus 4s, but fairness to OpTic, they have really been very quick trades that have come back. There's the first blood, though. Cleanex will find one on the Dashy, and it's now ultimately up to OpTic to try and answer back, but Cleanex finds another. It's a 2 versus 4 for OpTic now. Ellie finds one.
Oh, they've already gone down to 3. For another 1 versus 3. Surely it's not possible. It's not going to be. And somehow, Ultra just continue that slow, methodical playstyle. It must be a nightmare to play against because they just peak angles as a team. I don't think haven't found it. I thought it might be the Scump difference, but I don't know if he got spotted or they just saw the tiny pixel of movement, but they didn't commit to it. Cammy stuck in a corner. And they are finding the kills without having to get the plants here, Ultra.
By the way, that was Cleanex to find a glide bomb. Huge for the side of Ultra in the driving seat. OpTic again. Oh my god. Oh, it's disaster.
Cleanex is going to call it in. That's why he's backed off. He's backing off into a corner. He's calling in the glide bomb. This could all be over now. The reverse sweep. It's on the cast. Dashy finds one. Dashy not running for his life. Trying to get out. Desperately going to go for it. He escapes. 2 versus 3. OpTic dreams are alive. 2 versus 2 by illy. From the clutches of disaster, OpTic have found a ray of hope.
Toronto have read it. Toronto have read it. Isn't that going to be there for the shots? No, but Dashy is. Cleanex goes to the challenge. Okay. Okay. That's probably the round I would have thought OpTic are not going to win with the way that Ultra started. Cleanex finds the 1. It gets traded with a team kill. And somehow, some way, illy and Dashy get it done.
Dashy, the bat signal is up. Oh, that should have never have happened. Dashy escaped and then went on to kill 2 more. And you can see him just getting around the corner in time. He already took down bats. I thought it was done, but it is not to be. OpTic live.
OpTic have got to be patient yet. Too many times they've been caught out by Ultra, just playing slow and waiting on OpTic to maybe make a slight misstep to go for that first blood. And then the trades have always favored the side of Toronto Ultra. 5-2 up. That was a disastrous round. Complete disaster from Ultra. But they still have plenty more opportunities. Cleanex finds the grenade. I think obviously a couple more headed that way. illy will be taken down over towards B. OpTic have to reposition. And Ultra may well just take advantage from that.
I would be so annoyed playing against Ultra. Just sitting, hold your position, holding a pre-aim, like, right, I've got it if anyone challenges. Next thing you know, coordinated nades bounce off your head again. Looking for this one. They're looking for Dashy, and he was the catalyst last time. But it's numerical.
Still playing this. Still playing this so slow.
They are eventually going to get through, and it's been found. Cleanex finds Shotzzy. 2 versus 4. Time, though, is dipping away from them. And it's only Dashy left for the clutch. This will be a 1 versus 3 if he can make it. Bomb is now going down, surely. Can Dashy do it again?
Gonna get there in
Bomb
time.
Down, that player is not out. It's a 1v1 in sight. He's going to find
the challenge again.
Now Dashy, over and over again, is clutching against Ultra.
How can this keep happening if you're Toronto Ultra? It will start getting a little bit stressful as these rounds tick on. But every single round that OpTic have won, they have had zero right to do so. Ultra should arguably be 8-0 up here in the search and destroy, but OpTic say no.
I don't know what to make of this. Dashy is on a 6 streak now. He should have been killed by a glide bomb. Instead, he has become something transcendent. Something for them to cling to. He gets away.
It was like a magnet to those grenades. That stun came in and Ultra send in the artillery. Now for OpTic Texas, though, because of those grenades over, it has allowed Ultra to set themselves up. Dashy and co will have to find a route through somehow, some way. Bance will have to back on down as grenades may well be on their way towards him as well. OpTic, slow and steady. It's looking like they're posturing for an air hit inside. Another grenade heads his way. There might be a couple more heading this way as well. OpTic now over on the way.
Oh, Cammy's fluffed it a little bit. He's not made anything go through, and Ultra throwing every bullet at it, but they've got nothing for all the hit markers they've had, and they've got 2 more. OpTic have found it. That bomb is still not down. Inside tries to fake a player down, but Ultra have done about 1,000 damage this round and found not a single kill to be had. And OpTic get another one.
Oh my goodness. They are really snatching this one away from the jaws of defeat. I cannot believe that OpTic are still in this search and destroy, never mind at 5-4. And it was just so much aggression over towards the A site. As soon as Inside does not land those bullets, as soon as those grenades head that way, he has to duck for cover. And Ultra not there to answer the call of reinforcements. 7 spree for Dashy. Glide bomb in the back pocket. Has to survive. Is this the round that Ultra get quick?
I don't think so. Surely can't be a second S&D by Ultra. Thrown by the wayside.
What is the play here for Ultra?
Keep Dashy alive. Wait for the glide. There it goes. And they've all switched. Look at this. He has no idea where anybody is. He finds nobody. Ultra switch out. They burn a lot of time.
That is a commitment from the side of OpTic Texas. That glide bomb is in. No information gained. Information gained on LE has to get out. Look at all the grenades that followed. They have left this really at 35 seconds to go. Look at Shotzzy.
They find anything in through. Cleanx finds Shotzzy, the first blood. They've got players here in River. They've got players in River. He hasn't seen Bance. Bance is going to get the bomb down. Committing for it. Illy is in River. Looking for Inside, trying to get the bullets down. It's still advantage to Ultra. Bance is trapped in the site. Inside finds the second one. And Dashy is trying to look for Bance, and he finds him eventually. Can he do it again? No, down he goes. It's just Scump for the 1 versus 3. He finds the first. Will Ultra be clutched up again? Surely this cannot happen to him, but oh my goodness, Cleanx gets away. Scump with a little bit of a whiffy shot. And that might be just enough. He finds it. And now he knows where it is. Cammy will not check this bomb. He will not find himself out there. He will eventually fly out when the time is right. And Scump has no choice. And they refuse to go down. It's the reverse sweep for Ultra. It's the 10 points. And it's the dagger for OpTic. They did so much work to start the series. A comeback on the S&D. Dashy went God mode, but God mode was not enough. Oh my goodness.
I mean, Dashy might be a 10 in that one, but my goodness me, Toronto Ultra just too far in the lead. Just far too far in the lead. In every single round that OpTic Texas found felt like a minor miracle. Clutch players after clutch players is the only reason they were in that game. And eventually, though, that's not good enough. You can't win search and destroys having to do that every single round. It felt like they were at a deficit every single round. Props to them for the clutches that came on through, but Ultra realistically were in control 99% of that game. It was just, I think, one round that OpTic won cleanly. Outside of that, it was clutch after clutch after clutch, which is great to have, but they were always in the position where they had to clutch Pricey. And it's never a spot you want to be in, irrelevant if you can pull them off. OpTic fall, the reverse sweep for Ultra though. And how much confidence will that give them into the major now?
I'll be honest with you, Ton.
What a game.
I'm still decompressing that S&D. Like,
honestly, I felt like I was living in the upside down watching half of that. Half those situations
where it went wrong. That glide bomb right there was the potential to throw it away. Insight does not manage to get Dashy. Dashy, it's the hottest feat of the year, starts clutching up on rounds over and over again. And again, it comes down to Scump. I mean, Scump, let's be honest, we kind of felt like it might have been able to Scump to clutch it, but time was just against him. I'm actually messing over my words now because what we are watching in the CDL is quite frankly outrageous.
On top of that, I'm wearing sunglasses indoors. The Shannon sunglasses. My chest hair's out. That kind of game's going on, honestly, man. But we do not live normal lives. That was an obscene series. There's your tail of the tape. OpTic, comfortable map number 1. A hell of a comeback map number 2. And then back to back to back for Ultra. I think I can take these off now. I don't know what to tell you, man. What a series. What a series.
Oh,
and we've got one more to go, mate.
Yeah, it has been a long day and it's been glorious and it has been great. But it is over to the desk to break that one down and not have a breakdown like we are.
Yo, Bryce, man, this is a show for families. Why you got your chest out? What you doing? I'm playing. Hey, congrats to the Toronto Ultra for the big win. But the thing that I do have to say, though, and we have to say it outright, even though it was a big win against OpTic Texas, what was happening in that search and destroy at the end? It was kind of scary, but still kudos for Toronto for pulling that out against OpTic. But, yo, they're going to have to clean that up at the end.
It wasn't even just at the end, Val. It was in the first search and destroy as well. True. Toronto's in a favorable position. They're up 5-2, and OpTic ice up and end up taking it 6-5 fashion. But, I mean, I will say this for, like, the Toronto Ultra. Their control looked impeccable. That first offensive round, I mean, it was just textbook. They came out aggressive, and they pulled off the reverse sweep against the OpTic Texas. So it's a huge confidence match, like I said, for the Toronto Ultra. They're sitting okay at points, but they're still close enough to that bubble where teams are on their tail.
Right, Nameless, man. Okay, you went actually crazy during one of the clutches. That was insane. I hope we can break that down soon. But also, OpTic Texas is going to be in the losers bracket. There's so much to unfold, right?
Oh, man, it's just a tough game out of them coming into this one. You know, they had some clutch plays, but talking about the Toronto Ultra, I think that game for Tuscan was the cleanest hardpoint I've seen from them all season long. I mean, the score got a little close at the end, but the rotations out of them were absolutely on the money. That P3 hold on the first rotation, they kept flooding through Fountain, picking them off at Vines. Like, that is what I've been waiting to see out of Toronto Ultra. Collapsing together, finding the player on rotation, and then getting control of the hill on the break. That's what they did so well in that game 4. If they can continue to play like that, they can find some success because even in search and destroy, like when they get clutched on, they're able to ice up and still win the map, which is what we just saw.
All right, also let's go ahead and take a look at the points right now in the CDL because the race is absolutely crazy. I mean, look at it. Toronto Ultra still 160 right there. Comfortable, but not comfortable enough because Los Angeles Guerrillas are right behind them with 15 points. And we all know that when it comes to the major in New York coming up in Brooklyn, 160 ain't a lot to really be safe at all, Allie.
It's not that much to be safe, but it's more than being tied in the 140 situation. It's more than being LAG, who are sitting at 145, who just broke their way back into the bubble. So it's a better situation than some teams, but with the way Toronto Ultra has been kind of inconsistent, it's still a little worrisome.
Right, and we're going to talk to him about that. We actually have Cammy for the Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Let's get that man on the screen. What's up, Cammy? Congrats.
Congratulations, Cammy. It was quite the series. You guys pulled off the reverse sweep in the end. And I have to be kind of hard on you with this question. That search and destroy, I mean, obviously you guys in the Berlin were in a very favorable situation. Probably should have closed it out there. OpTic ices up and comes back. Same situation kind of happens in that game 5. Things get a little shaky. Did somebody reel you guys back in after Dashy got that glide bomb and kind of was like, we just need to close it out and keep playing our game? Or did it just end up going in y'all's favor?
Nah, I feel like everyone was kind of trying to keep everyone relaxed. Like, we knew we were choking, but like at the end of the day, you just gotta move on from it. And yeah, we still just took our time, like kept on playing the same we were playing, worked our picks. It's just, I think, a few rounds went a bit unfortunate.
Absolutely.
Cammy, I gotta ask you, man, you guys look so good at the major, and this has been a tough stage. I mean, congratulations on the win, but I'm sure you guys have been working very hard. What do you attribute that to, like sort of the inconsistencies? Because it looked like you guys were gonna be in championship form after the run that we saw at the last major.
I'm not too sure, to be fair. We came back from the major, the first like week or two of scrims were going really well, and then I don't know, a few days started going a bit bad, then we started getting some losses on the board, and it was just like, I don't know, it kind of just went downhill from then onwards, and I'm not really sure what we're doing. I think we were just playing a bit too antsy in our matches, and it was also leading to practice, just like stupid mistakes, stuff like that, and it was translating over to games. And then, yeah, I feel like we're still working on a lot of things, trying to get the consistency, but hopefully going into Major 4 will be good.
Well, you cleaned it up today, so congratulations.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Cammy, I've seen you guys have been able to do that losers run. I'm excited to see what you guys bring to LAN. But I gotta say, I want one of you to be a hype man when it comes to the squad. Y'all are known for being so cool, calm, and collected, but I feel like at some point, like if one of you just starts getting amped up, getting everybody going, I feel like when Toronto Ultra is put under pressure is when y'all really shine.
Ain't that insight?
Yeah, I mean, Jamie gives good gas. He's the guy that gets you pumped up, I'd say.